And welcome back to Square Off. That was Governor Doug Ducey inciting a Good Friday feud with Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego. It carried on past Easter weekend, the city announcing it would defy Ducey's order to lift mask mandates. Our panel stepping in now, Jevin Hodge, Democratic candidate last fall for Maricopa County Supervisor in District 1, came awfully close to pulling an upset there. And Barrett Marson, Republican consultant at Marson Media. Welcome to you both.
Happy
Thank
Sunday.
you for having us.
So Doug Ducey and Kate Gallego have been at odds over health policy since the start of the pandemic more than a year ago. Gallego and Senator Kyrsten Sinema practically shamed him into acting more aggressively against COVID. Jevin Hodge, is this just a policy difference between the governor and the mayor or bad blood?
Absolutely not. So this is not a policy difference. Yes, I would say it's a bit of bad blood, but what it really comes down to is that the governor speaks and preaches small government, but wants to override every decision that's happening at the local level. He's not thinking in the interest of the people. He's not thinking in the interest of anyone. He's solely thinking about what is best for himself and what's going to make himself look good. This is not led by scientists. It's a bad decision, to be completely honest with you, Graham.
Okay, Barrett, is something else going on. We're seeing a snippier Doug Ducey, a more aggressive Doug Ducey, not with the mayor, but with other politicians. We know he's probably running for something in 2022 or 24. Is that what's going on?
You know, look, right now we are seeing one of the best vaccine rollouts in any state in the country. And I think, you know, Ducey is feeling that and feeling that Arizona is absolutely on the right side, finally, of COVID. And the numbers are dwindling. And I think he wants to see Arizona get back to normal. I mean, everybody wants that, of course. But it's up to him, if you will, to be sort of that leading cheerleader. They're having a fight over masks. Governor has obviously never been a fan of a mask mandate. And, you know, mask mandates, I don't believe worked all that much, whether at the city or the county level. So Phoenix is keeping their mask mandate for now. And I don't think anybody cares. They've done zero enforcement of it. So I think it's a meaningless effort on Phoenix's part. Though I will say, mask up Arizona. I think masks work. So
you think it works, but it's meaningless?
The mandate is meaningless. I think the mandate, you know, trying to force people to do it hasn't worked. You know, no city has enforced it. If you're not going to enforce it, what's the use of a mandate? But I do believe that masks work.
Jevin?
But this is a great example right here, right? This is a great example of a decision that is based in nothing, right? The governor is solely thinking about himself, solely thinking about what's next. There is not one scientist in the country that is saying that we should relieve mask mandates or that we should relieve COVID restrictions. We need to protect our residents. The governor's not doing it. The governor, you know what he looks like? He looks like he's a continuing talking head of Donald Trump and trying to position for what's next. This is not in the interest of the Arizonans, the Arizona people, and it's not going to keep us safe.
All right, our next topic, a who's who of Arizona business leaders at Greater Phoenix leadership urged the legislature this past week to drop 3 elections bills that it labeled as alarming. The Arizona Cardinals' Mike Bidwill lent his weight to that letter by GPL, raising the specter once again of Arizona possibly losing a Super Bowl. Barrett, this debate's been going on nationwide. Should Mike Bidwill and business leaders stay in their lane, or should they get involved?
You know, I have no problem with business leaders who are community leaders at heart, if you will, taking a stand. The problem here is that most of the more egregious election bills that have been debated in the legislature, and some weren't even debated, they're dead. And so this is actually a little bit too late, if you will, in the process. Most of what they're talking about isn't going to survive anyway. Literally already the bills are dead or near death. So I don't mind them weighing in. They probably should have weighed in a little bit earlier when some of these bills were actually still alive.
That's interesting. The Elections Committee chair in the House, John Kavanaugh, told me some of these bills are being held or at least being modified. And that, I don't know what the timing of that was, because GPL actually got involved back in January. What got our attention was Bidwill lending his name. Jevin, do you think it's having an impact?
I think it does have an impact, and I'm proud to see it. Right, this is what leadership in action looks like. Right, when government wants to willfully deny its citizens the rights, someone has to step up. Someone has to be a voice, and someone has to be an advocate. And if it's the business community, it's the business community. We welcome that. The business community can be a force for good, and this is a prime example of that. We have the Republican leadership in the Arizona legislature that, just like in other legislative chambers around the country, that want to deny people the opportunity to participate. What we've seen is people who look like me that are participating in elections that have been historically disenfranchised and marginalized from participating, and they want to move the goalposts and change the rules so that that can't happen, because they know when people vote, their leadership is not what the people want.
Okay, time now. I'm going to ask you to tell us something good news that we may not have noticed this past week. Barrett, I'll start with you.
Something that happened just on Thursday was great. The governor appointed Kelly Millenbeck to be the adjutant general for the Arizona National Guard. I don't think that got as much play as it really should have. She's the first woman to ever lead the Arizona National Guard. She's a prosecutor and a professor now, and I think she's going to do a great job leading Arizona's military, basically.
All right, Jevin Hodge.
And DEMA, our Department of Emergency Management. So I think she's going to do a great job, and just another woman in the cabinet for Doug Ducey.
All right, Jevin Hodge, tell us something good.
I agree. I'll tell you something. And as a proud son, my mother last Thursday announced her Tempe City Council. She's the first African-American woman elected in the city of Tempe. And I just have to say, I'm just proud. That's really what it comes down to. I'm proud of her. I wish her the best.
All right. Jevin Hodge, Barrett Marson, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.